G'day everyone. Proud to say Barkarati is brought to you by Radix Nutrition, makers of the most technically comprehensive nutrition products that have ever existed. Unlock your potential with Radix. Konnichiwa, listeners, and welcome to Barkarati, the sailing podcast. My name is Jordan Spencer, son, and it's the time of the week where we get to talk sailing with some really cool sailors. But of course, I have to share the microphone with my two idiot mates. First off,
idiot mates. Are you kidding me?
Mr. Brett Perry.
Greetings, exalted one.
Idiot mates. Oh, Jesus Christ. Sport and Jensa, Itchy Barn. Son.
Yeah, you're Itchy Barn and Bicey's Itchy Knee.
No. No, it's so you're back in Oz.
Yeah, just touchdown. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm over here in Portugal. It's as of time of recording, I've got to get used to saying that. It's very early here, but at least the North Atlantic low's disappeared.
Yeah.
That has been here. It seems since I left in November. But it seems to have gone away, and it's a nice looking day.
Beautiful. Well, let's bring in the other bloke, see where he is.
He had a voice that could make a wolverine purr.
Mr. Nick Bice.
Buongiorno, gents.
Buongiorno.
Buongiorno, Jordan's son.
Jordan's son. Buongiorno, Ichiban. Buongiorno.
Mate, I'll tell you, what we are looking forward to is, of course, a weather report in Portugal for the next few weeks.
Yeah.
Whilst you're there. And but in saying that, geez, our carbon footprint hasn't gone that well.
No,
this week.
we're not good, are we?
I'll tell you what, Team Barkarati are going to have to plant a few trees this week because
we did some travel.
I've just done in the last 4 days. When did I leave? Wednesday night. It's now Sunday morning. Six plane flights. 2 different hire cars, 3 hotels. So it's going well.
Well, I always go forward to make sure the pilot puts it in cruise mode. In the automatic drive. So they're not in sport mode.
Oh, just like
I love it.
You should see the tacho go down. The tacho goes down from 2,500 revs to 2,000 revs.
Ooh.
And that just happens when you flick your little straps on the back of the croc.
Oh, mate,
there you go.
That's it.
Just
slides into
bring the tacho down.
Hey,
we're okay.
When are they going to bring out? When are they going to bring out Crocs for snow? Like, geez.
Oh, mate, don't worry.
Snow Crocs.
So since all the bullshit we talk about, Crocs,
it'll come.
My algorithms got stuffed up with all the rainbow talk.
Yeah.
Well, mate, the algorithms are fully fucked now with Crocs.
You want to join it together, mate. Join it together, rainbow Crocs.
So the snow croc, you can buy a croc and it's got a snow plow on the front of it.
And a tennis racket on the back.
Oh, wow.
You can or the cowboy croc, you got spurs off the back.
Love it.
Would the snow Crocs be white or camouflage? Because you wouldn't want to lose them, would you? They have to be black.
As long as they grip on snow and ice, BP, that's all I care about. Holy dooly. Aussies are not good at walking on icy footpaths, I tell you. It's quite funny.
Did you take a stumble?
No, I slipped about a million times. But watching the Japanese run up and down the footpath, and we're just like, like,
that's because they're all 50 kilos, and you are a normal size human.
That's true. That is true. It does make a difference. It is quite
How did your snowboarding go, Jordan?
It went okay.
Just remember, point the shoulder down the mountain. Never lean back.
Exactly right, BP. Yes,
I know.
Exactly. Bend the knee.
Not often I'm wrong.
Yeah, I love it. No, it's good. Yeah, good fun. Cool. All right, boys. Well, obviously, we're all around the planet. We're back together, just the 3 of us chatting. No one else is listening in, so we can say whatever we want. But we are going to bring on some special guests to have a bit of a chat.
Oh.
This is a full bore show, isn't it?
Oh, my God. What a couple of weeks we've had too, by the way.
Oh, it has been good. We've had to plan around all this travel, and so we've put it together. And one of the episodes we put together is this discussion. We're going to talk about a class of boat It was a great discussion. Don't turn off. Don't turn off. You're going to love it. There was some really cool people chatting on this one. But we're going to talk about the Merlin Rocket, which is a UK design boat, a box rule design. It's been around since the mid to late 40s. The merge of two classes, the Merlin and the Rocket. And they're pretty funky.
Hence Merlin Rocket.
Hence Merlin Rocket, yeah. They're pretty funky looking little things. And there's a lot of tinkering. So if you like pulling strings, this is a class for you. Now to talk.
Dicey, it's in Jay's corner, mate.
So in my corner.
100%. Yeah.
So in my corner. I was so excited.
Loves a good pull.
Loves a good rope pull, yep.
To talk about this, we continued on with Stu Bithell from last week's episode, Olympic and silver and gold medalist. And then we added Andy Davis, who's one of the most successful sailors in the Merlin class at the moment and a sailmaker. Most people know him as Taxi. And then Simon Blake, who's belonged to multi-generational family, from a multi-generational family in the class, and also a very successful sailor. And so we were very, very touched. The Merlin class reached, when we spoke to them, they just said, yeah, and they've laid it all on for us. So going to be very interesting conversation. I hope you enjoy it, because we certainly did. It was a lot of fun. So with that in mind, welcome to Bar Karate. Stu, Andy and Simon, absolute pleasure to have you boys here on Bar Karate. This is the first 3-on-1, three mates, obviously, here to talk about the Merlin Rocket. What the hell is a Merlin Rocket? Who should answer that one?
I'll start you there a minute. Who's Andy?
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Is
okay.
he Taxi?
No, Taxi. Do I have to say Taxi?
Yeah, most people know him as Taxi.
Okay, all right. So Andy Davis, otherwise known as Taxi, righto. So I'll call you Taxi from now on. So yeah, who's Andy? Sorry, you bastard. You got me. Yeah. Keep going. We don't edit. This is going to air.
Yeah. Well, Simon's been sailing Merlin's probably the longest, so let him crack on. He can start it off.
Nice hand pass.
Yeah, nice hand pass. So, well, it's a two-man dinghy, 14 foot long. It's got a long heritage. It's I don't know, 80 years old in the UK. So I think it's mainly in the UK. Very traditional steel boat. It's got the sort of wooden plank lines come from obviously clinker built wooden boats, but now they're all glass and carbon, and so they've still got the sort of look of the chines that you get off a clinker built boat, but obviously much lighter and faster, and a very different design to what they used to be 100 years ago. Development class, so yeah, within a box you can develop the rules, and they have adapted a lot over the last 80 years or so. But more than that, they're just a brilliant sort of social and family and class, and so from my dad sailed Merlins for a long time, and my mum's dad also sailed Merlins for a while. So
there's here your third generation Merlin Rocket sailor. Well, I'm second generation Australian, so that shows how far back this class goes. I mean, there's very few Australians left here, but in terms of Merlin Rocket sailing, you're third generation. So yeah, really cool point.
Yeah, and I think I'm a Blake, but there's other sort of historic Merlin families as well, like the Warrens and the Harrises, who have many generations as well. So it's not just me; there's quite a few of us who have. And then my kids also start sailing them as well, so maybe they'll be fourth generation soon. Yeah.
I love that. Like, I've just got this visual image of when you go to the major regattas, there's a secret room where some of those storied families can go, and the rest of you have to sit outside and wait for your turn, sort of thing. Like, it's
well, in some of the regattas, there's like the family plate or the family prizes, so there's quite a lot of competition between the families on who wins them.
I love it.
It's very incestuous. It's very incestuous.
Yeah, well, it is.
There's lots of families overlapping.
Well, we don't want to go there. That's not what this show is all about. We're about the class, so let's keep on that, if you don't mind. I'm the what do they call it? The moderator.
So you said it's a box rule. So the joy of a box rule is that you can design. You've got a bit of flexibility, so you can design around your own body weight, and so I'm assuming it can accommodate quite diverse sizes. Is that right?
Well, others might want to jump in, but yeah. So there's a set of rules. There's a set of rules. It's not a box rule as such, I think, but there's a set of rules, and then there's development within those rules. There's no limit on weight. So, and that's actually one of the things which is quite good, that you get a huge range of different crew sizes that sail them. And quite competitively in different conditions, obviously. And that's the other thing that's really nice about it, is that they sail in different places around the UK, from open sea to on the river in really restricted areas. So and the Silver Tiller, which is the sort of the series which goes throughout the year, you have to qualify in a number of one of all of those events, so an open, a restricted, and a sea. So you have to be a good all-round sailor.
How many boats are we talking? How many boats are we talking in the fleet in a major?
Well, at the Nationals you get 70, 80 boats, and Salcombe Merlin Rocket Week, which is actually the biggest one. You get the entry's capped at 120, and it's usually full every year with quite a waiting list. So, yeah.
Okay. So, Stu, I'll come to you on this.
Simon,
hey?
Stick with Simon. He's doing a great job.
No, well, I saw this video of you, mate, at a boat show, and there was this one that had sort of almost like a dreadnought bow, and the stem was sort of rocked back a little bit, and they were interviewing you, and I was just intrigued, from all the different. I mean, I love a string. I'm, 5.0 sailor, FD sailor, I'm pretty comfortable with spaghetti in the bottom of the boat. I love a lot of string and being able to retune everything. Is that the appeal of the class, like that you've got that tunability of the boat?
Yeah, I think that's certainly one of the things that draws me into the boat, It's got such a nice rig, high aspect rig, relatively high aspect, and all the controls are led back to the helm and crew, so you can... one of the guys that builds the boats, Dave Winder, has made it very accessible to change everything individually. He's set up a system where you can change the rake, the kicker, the shroud, to everything on one bit of rope.
Love it.
So like in the 470, when we want to change rake, it's back the jib, let the tension, plug the pin in, and change it that way. On the Merlin, it's just like there on your fingertips. So that's really good. It's really nice, and basically means that if you can set the boat up well, you don't have to hike quite as hard.
Now we're talking. Yeah, we're talking. So I can whack me 100 kegs on the side and just sit there and enjoy my day. You're saying?
Exactly. Yeah. Work smarter, not harder. That's my ethos.
I love it. So, Taxi, from your perspective, with the sailmaker aspect and that tunability of the rig and all the different ones, does it make it harder as a sailmaker to sort of set up the shape of these things, or are you building different rigs for the different? Simon said they go offshore. You're on lakes. Are you able to sell multiple sets of sails because of that? I'm interested. It must be a hard job.
It is a bit of a hard job, but I think. Like in the UK, because we see such a range of conditions, we're trying to make really one set of sails that works in the widest range possible.
Yep.
So, and you're going from flat water to sea to chop to all sorts. So, in one sense, and everybody really only wants to carry one set of sails. They don't want to get too bogged down of being, I'm on the right set of sails, and that's kind of our aim, is to try and create one set that works in the widest range possible.
You don't want to have an arms race either, where you've got someone with 7 sets of sails and blah blah blah.
No, you don't. And actually, because the boat is so.
Got something to say there.
You'd live that.
I would, yeah. Just keep buying more sails. It's grand. Send my kids to private school, but basically, as of late, we are seeing more people starting to look into the rig a lot more. There's a few different mast manufacturers coming out. There's people playing around. You can change the ratios between the jib and the mainsail, the area sizes. Predominantly over the years, we've kind of sat around about a 2.8 meter squared jib.
Oh.
And now people are starting to play around with a 3 meter or a 3.12 meter, a slightly bigger jib. You got a handful of people doing one thing, doing another thing, and basically we're all getting the same results.
We're on carbon masts, right?
We're all on carbon masts, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I've been working with a guy called Thomas Wilkes, who's known as Cayley. He makes a lot of OKs and thin masts, and talented engineer. And it just makes learning from him as well has been great. And there's potential of, I mean, the class looked at wing masts probably back, I don't know, 20 years ago, 25, 30 years ago. Obviously, materials weren't as good back then, but they've got better now, so it's maybe something we should start looking at again. Just things like that, really. Just try and keep the thing rolling.
You know,
it's kind of unique, isn't it? That it is a development class.
Yep.
And there's, like Taxi says, he's trying to change little bits with the sail, little things with the mast, maybe a slightly different foil shape. But actually, at the end of the day, the beauty of the class is you can just go and buy something off the shelf and you can be racing at the front of the fleet.
Yep.
So it's not like you need to be technically minded or you need to have time to put into development. It's like, well, actually, if I just
probably not unlike the Sharpie J in that sense, where it's technical, but it's relatively off the shelf.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. Like, if you go back to the start of the class, like where it was like post-war, you actually had two boats effectively. We became one. So you had.
Is this Simon's granddad? Is this Simon's granddad?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. So you had Jack Hull and his buddies at Ranelagh Sailing Club, and they were starting to make a 14-foot boat, because the only classes that you were sailing back then were like national 12s and international 14s.
Yes.
So they were kind of looking at something around about a 14-foot dinghy, which would be a hiking boat, and they could all sail on the river and wear their straw hats. But in the meantime, at the same time, you had another guy. I think it was Robin Stevenson. He was up in Nottingham Way, in Middle Earth of England, and they were looking at another class, which they were going to call the Rocket. And in the end, I don't know how, but they managed to get together, and the two boats, instead of like going for the market as two boats in the same market, they decided to join forces, and that's where the Merlin Rocket actually was born, effectively. Yeah, and ever since then.
Taxi.
Yeah, well, you got to do your research. Thanks for spoiling that. But there's been about 70 designers designing boats, and effectively the people were designing boats left, right, and centre and trying new things all the way up and through. And it's only in the last probably 20 years where design has slowed down, and we've come to sit on almost one hull shape, which kind of fits the bill.
Which was the question I was going to ask. So, hull shape obviously is fairly settled. You just, as you mentioned then, it's a clinker hull. It's basically, what can change? I mean, is it just the lines? Is it the shape? Is it the rocker? Is it the, there's an element of that involved, I suppose.
Yeah, and I think, talking to the brains and the guys that were developing the hull shapes. I mean, we're effectively sailing around in a boat that was designed in the mid 1980s, and it's just been slightly evolved over the time by some really good boat builders. And the bit was the main point that they looked at was the transition from going from a non-planing boat to a planing boat.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And they concentrated hard on that. And I think that's why the Merlin is such a good boat. It's such a good all-rounder, is because it does that so well. And that's where we are today. Really.
Sam designed a boat, didn't you? A bit of a niche one off for Sulcombe, right?
Yeah, well, Joe Richards. Yeah, so I've got a boat back in the UK, which Joe Richards designed actually, and Kevin Driver built, which is quite different. Yeah, so it's I think it's about 18% less buoyancy in the bow, so it's really quite a lot different. Much more buoyancy in the stern. It sails quite differently. Obviously, the weight fore and aft is very different. So there are still some designs that are quite different. John Turner's obviously designing ones which are a bit different as well. So there is still evolution going on. And there are some crazy guys like me who sometimes come out with even really wacky ones.
Right. Because the Sulcombe Week, you won that Sulcombe Week. Was that in that boat?
It was, yeah. Yeah, it was. We've won that 3 times, I think. But the last time was in that boat. Yeah.
Yeah, which is, I'm assuming that's pretty flat water, because I think I've seen a bit of footage of that, and it's quite beautiful scenery in the background there from, and I haven't really tied together that it was Merlin Rockets that I was watching at the time. I was going, oh, this is sailing past castles and forests and stuff. Is that
right? Yeah, Salcombe's amazing. It's a beautiful part of the world to start with, and it's in one of those sort of old fjord estuaries, so like very steep hills, which means that people and spectators can sit on the hills, and particularly at the start, but you've got a very short start line because the water's actually not very wide, and you've got 60 boats careering backwards and forwards when it's windy. Is pretty awesome spectators. You get hundreds of spectators lining and watching from above, and when it is windy, it's usually pretty exciting. And then when you get around the corner though, because it's an estuary with all these little fingers that go off, then in some places there's under a hill, there's not much wind, and there's a lot of tide, so it can. To win the week, it is very unique, but you have to be a really good all-round sailor, and so it is very, very unique. And it's obviously one that Stu hasn't won either, which is probably the only one he hasn't.
Obviously, because he's not an all-round sailor.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Me and my mate Christian Birrell, who we battle it out quite often in the Merlin, and neither of us have won Salcombe, and.
You're concentrating on the wrong. Concentrating on You're concentrating on the wrong things, the Olympics and Sail GP and things. You're not focusing on the right men.
You got to get your priorities right, Stu. Okay, so let's just fuck that Olympic shit off. Let's now take
it. I mean, when I look at the boat, it looks like. It's a fairly easily driven hull, and it looks like it's a really good size for male-female combinations, and it looks like you have a lot of female skippers as well. It looks like it's a good one for father-son, mother, son, daughter, whatever combination. It's a real mix. It can. You mentioned family before, but it looks like it's that perfect size for doing exactly that.
Yeah, well,
you can sail with whoever, any size really.
Any size?
Big, small. I actually, when I was 13, crewed for a massive guy called Boris.
Just the name Boris. I mean, just Boris is just a big name, isn't it? Really,
he's a big character. Big character.
Boris Johnson.
Yeah. I love it. But yeah, so
just on that, Jay. Sorry, Jay. Just quickly, within the class, do you have those sort of division segmentations? In other words, you can get an overall winner. Do you have mother daughter? Do you have father son? Do you have those sort of divisions or prizes? Because ultimately, you're talking about
there's prizes. Yeah, there's definitely prizes at the events.
Yep.
But it's all on. The beauty of it is everyone races together. Girls, boys,
sure.
families,
all
race together.
But it's like anything. If you've got a 12-year-old daughter and a mother out there, it's just fantastic, right? It'd be good to
there's so many families to sail together. I mean, when I started sailing, I was crewing for my dad, and then my mum started crewing for me. Now I'm sailing with my daughter.
How'd that go?
Yeah, a bit better with me and my mum. Me and my dad didn't do so well, I think.
Simon, I'll just go back on that one. So, what era was your mum crewing with you? What years?
That would have been in the sort of mid to late 90s, something around then.
Was that was pre dreadlocks or in mid full dreadlocks?
Yeah, that would have been full dreadlocks, I think, at that stage. Yeah.
I was just trying.
You've done your research.
Mate, I don't know if you're into bar karate, but this guy, he's a freak of research. He carries us like you got no idea.
I'm waiting to see what he's got in taxi. I reckon he can do it.
No, nothing on me, mate.
No dreadlocks. Apparently no dreadlocks.
No dreadlocks.
No dreadlocks. Definitely no dreadlocks.
I'm just intrigued because BP jumped on that. Like I think we all jumped at just trying to imagine sailing with our mums around on the water. Like
No, I can't.
It's just impossible to imagine. Not that we dislike our mums. It's just impossible to imagine sort of thing. So it must.
You can always hear the husband and wife cruise.
Oh,
yes.
They're usually shouting each other.
I bet you can. And I've got experience
There's
with
just
that.
like
I know
this like
exactly
red
how that
mist.
is.
The red mist comes
It's
down.
like pure silence in the boat, or just it's either pure silence and they're trying not to look at each other, or there's a lot of shouting going on.
I do still tell the story of sailing a Tazo with my girlfriend at the time, and I crossed the finish line on my own as a crew, and wondered why I was tacking. She jumped off. She had enough.
Oh, dear.
Well, that is the joy of sailing in so many ways. I'm intrigued. On some boats, you have most of the control lines going back to the skipper, the speed controls. Some of them go to the forward. When you've got two people hiking, all control lines, you can equally access them. When you've got someone on trapeze, it's common sense the skipper gets most of the control lines. On the Merlin Rockets, is it all split? Like, are you needing a crew that's really good with tuning, or are you needing a skipper that can just leave the skipper to concentrate and then the crew does all the rig tune? I'm just interested if that sort of demarcation goes on the boat.
Well, I'll start with that one.
Yeah.
It's up to the two of you, depending on who really wants to do what. I mean, personally, with me, I had to touch everything. Didn't let the crew's there for hiking out. You just stay out.
Get out there,
hike out. Yeah. And I just tinker with anything. Any excuse to not hiking it. But I know people, a lot of good crews who they like fiddling at the front, and you just let them get on with it. And depending on whether you're a helm and you're happy for them to do that, then you crack on. But yeah, it's definitely a job sharing job.
Yeah.
Well, not for me anyway. It's like, get your hands off. It's mine.
Yeah. Well, the power of the sailmaker.
You just got to know your spot.
Yeah.
Well, I guess, Taxi, we can take that a little further, because in classes like what I imagine the Merlin Rocket is, and I'll be honest, I've spent a lot of time looking at the photos and all the different control lines, and looking at the rig structures and sails and the shapes. So I've tried to get my head around what it'd be like to sail one. The joy, sorry, mate. The joy of those sorts of boats is because they're so controllable. Everything. Like, you can jump on any other boat and go, okay, I know how this is going to behave, because you've got all those elements. When you've got a boat with all the elements, you know how to do everything because you've got that. I hate to say it, I'll get a lot of grief here, but a 5.0 is exactly the same. You can control.
I was just about to go there, lad. So what he's doing here, he's actually setting himself up for a crew role at the next national. So, because what he's doing is telling you that he knows everything about 5.0.
No, I'm just saying that ability. Like, if you make a change here, how it's going to affect the rest of the boat.
Yeah.
Right? It makes you a better sailor is what I was trying to get to, because, when you've got these boats with all those control lines, you make a change, you've got to analyse how it's going to make those differences. And I'm starting with you here on this one, Taxi. Like, do you agree with that, or you think I'm just in it?
Yeah, no, completely. I mean, you can dial into settings faster, and if the boat don't feel right, you change something. Whereas if you're sailing around in something like an Enterprise or a GP14, you're stuck with a rig in one place. There's not much you can change apart from pull the kicker on or pull the Cunningham on. But with the Merlin, if it don't feel right, you can pull on a bit more rake. You can pull the centerboard up.
Is that the difference between winning and losing? I mean, is it that tight? I mean, we're talking about you three guys are pretty efficient in your sailing. I mean, we're talking about one boat length here, one boat length there. Is that how close we are?
Yeah, but certainly the windier it gets, and that transition. I mean, you need to get in the Merlin plane in a wind, and if you end up with setting the rig up and you're a bit too overpowered, you're just a bit high and slow. Whereas somebody who's got it dialed in nicely, they're low and fast, and all of a sudden they've just gone round you. But so it's it's important to get dialed in, and but it's it's because you've got so much change, you can sometimes go past it, and you can depower
that's
yourself
the
a
other
bit too
side
much.
of it, isn't it? That's always been an issue with these highly controlled boats, that some people just take it too far.
Yeah, and it's still. I mean, I'm still a firm believer. You know, if you put the time in, if you've gone and put 50 hours in more than anybody else, you're going to come out on top. So, you know, training and putting the hours in, it pays dividends in the long run. Really, you can have all the controls you like, but you know, I've seen a lot of sailors come in to the Merlin and with much simpler boats or more complicated boats, but at the end of the day, the guy that's putting the most hours tends to come out on top. So.
Cool.
So, Stu, from your perspective, you know, you spend a lot of time in the Merlins. Then you went to the 470s, which are reasonably controllable boats. There's a few control lines, nowhere near the same as the Merlin. Then went to the 49er, where there's bugger all, really. You've got to do all your setup on the shore. Did you just get dumber as you went along in the Olympics?
You got greyer.
I got greyer.
Looks like there's a fair few controls in the sail GP.
That was the Jordan Classic. We'll put that in the best of.
Yeah, you can throw sail GP back at.
More accurate. I got more accurate.
More accurate? Yeah, I love it. But no,
more in tune with the surroundings, Stu, is what you're trying to say.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But in all honesty, it can be an exercise in frustration when you're out there and, you know, you've got a 5 or 8 knot change in wind strength, or the conditions change, and you know what you have to do, but you can't change anything. You've just got to sail through it, you know, like did you ever get frustrated, or you just trained those boats so hard you were fine?
No, in the 470 and 49, you mean? Like
in the 49,
you can't change stuff. Yeah. No, you can change stuff. It's just your technique and your sail trim rather than pulling on bits of rope. So, yeah, it's almost good for your sailing that you get a bit of both, you know?
Yep.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Sometimes you got to stick with what you got and deal with it, and sometimes you can change everything, and, you know, it's kind of building you up as a sailor, as an all-rounder, like you say.
Yep. Yeah. So obviously each of you guys have all sailed different boats. You know, I know, Simon, you've been doing some SB stuff, and Taxi, you're off to do the OK Worlds. And Stu, you're obviously sailing Sail GP, so you're in the 50s. Do you think the Merlin Rocket actually is fundamental to that success? Like, do you guys reckon, I'll start with you on this one, Simon. Do you reckon that has actually helped you in your sailing careers?
I think it really has. Yeah, I mean, most recently I've been sailing down here, in Melbourne at the moment, on a Melges IC37. Abraham's
nice.
one. Mm-hmm. And it was out the weekend, and it was a day from the north, so the wind was sort of really fluky and gusty and really shifty, and not much sea state. And I was thinking, as we were sailing that boat, you know, upwind, that it's actually quite like sailing a Merlin, really, a bit bigger. And yeah, you know, picking all the shifts, just keep it going fast, keep it planing, and all the shifts, so I think that when, you know, sailing a Merlin in conditions like that, it really helps. And because you're sort of sailing in all these different places, all these different conditions, when you are in a race that has a lot of different conditions, it really helps, I think.
Yeah. And so, Taxi, to take that a little bit further, mate, you're talking about working with mast manufacturers. So from a sailmaker perspective, that ability to experiment would actually, that would actually add to your value, I reckon, in your role as a sailmaker, yeah?
Oh, yeah, without a doubt, yeah. You got to try and cover all bases, and just working with mass manufacturers and just even the development through the Merlin and, you know, different fall designs, fit out. It just makes you more of a rounded. You appreciate what controls do, why they do it, you know, and when you jump from one class to another, you jump in, you're like, I can't really pull the kicker on correctly, or this traveller's not quite in the right place. You quickly, like, you fall back onto your Merlin experience, and you're like, well, we did this in the Merlin and this worked. And then I think because the Merlin has had such a huge overhaul and a lot of people looking at it and trying to make it go fast. You know, it's got a lot of clever things on it, and just been refined. I mean, it's a very well refined boat, and I think that's why, we like sailing it because you can just hop in it and it talks to you, and you can, and also, you're also sailing against some of the best people in the UK. We get such good sailors. I mean, the top 10 can be just all full of national champions, world champions, Olympians, and that has been throughout its whole life. I mean, you look at Alan Warren and Pat Blake, people that have been at the top level for such a long time, and you get to go and sit on a race course with those guys. I mean, what other sport can you?
We say that often. We say that quite often.
Go and sit on a start line with an Olympian is, and have banter around a racetrack. That's what it's all about, isn't it?
It is.
And so just to further on that, sorry, Jay, you Taxi, you come in to do the OKs. How do you transition yourself from not hiking because you're telling your crew to get out there to you having to hike now?
Well,
because I can tell you, mate, I did a couple of OKs down here in Drummoyne Sailing Club a couple of weeks ago, and they're trying to get me to go up there, but I'm just not into it. That's too
well. Yeah, it's what I like. My background is more single-handed, actually, more than anything.
Yeah.
So for me to jump in to a double-hander, I find a bit harder. You stick a jib in front of the mainsail, and I kind of lose that peripheral. It's just you kind of get lost, and you end up having to talk to your crew. Whereas once I jump into a single hander, I feel way more comfortable. So for me to go to a double hander, it takes me a lot longer to get used to it. But in the single hander, it feels a lot easier, and you got no one to blame apart from yourself.
Well, I hope you haven't been lazy and not training, because I can tell you right now, the boys down here have been putting a lot of work in. And they are super fit, mate. They're super fit. What's that, Stu?
Don't listen to him.
Well, not even
mate.
Sorry for an Australian before.
No, I'm just saying. I'm just
a bit of issue with the container.
Yeah. All right. Yeah.
Yeah, we're not sure whether. Well, we think that their boats should be delivered this weekend, but
right.
It's not. It hasn't been a guarantee. They've been sat in Sydney for 2 weeks.
There's something going on with one of the shipping yards. So apologies if that's caught you guys up. That is not good.
Fingers crossed now. But I think the Aussies up in Brisbane are trying to pull out all the stops, and we'll get sailing.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So back to the Merlin. What size sails are we talking? What's the?
So I think for the main jib, I think it's around about 10. I think it's like a 2.8 to 3 meter jib with the mainsail to go with it. It's interesting, actually. You can actually go bigger, so you can actually go slightly taller. But the way that the ratio, so you can have a really tall rig in it. So a lot of the river boats have. I can't remember what it is, how tall the rig is now off the top of my head, but you can have a really tall rig, but the punishment is it's got to be short on the foot, so you end up with a real high aspect.
High aspect, yeah.
But if you kind of come down, so roughly the luff length on the mainsail now is around about 5.7 roughly, with a 2.5 meter foot, but as you come down and the mast and the mast gets shorter, you actually get penalised a little bit on total sail area, which is quite interesting. But we've all kind of settled out around, the luff length of about 5.7 and a foot around 2.5, and that's been the norm really for the last 20 years, I'd say.
I was going to say, because box rules, we see it all the time. They do end up in a little corner, where there's little slight changes. But as you say, it's been pretty settled for a while. There are people like Simon who like to push the boundaries a bit on his bow and stern, but in general, it's pretty sort of cornered, yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean it's good though. I mean, I think like I said, people are starting to play around with the 3.12 jib, but you're literally like moving like half a meter of cloth from the mainsail to the top of the jib, and it has the advantages in some breeze and disadvantages in other, but
but you wouldn't know because you're normally a single-handed, so like you don't understand what a jib does. No,
I don't know. Yeah, it's just smoke and mirrors to me, mate.
Pull it on, mate.
Yeah.
Hey, it's flat.
Not that hard.
We haven't even talked about spinnakers yet. What about the foils? Like, is it a dagger board or is it a centerboard?
Centerboard.
Come on, Simon.
It's a centerboard.
Centerboard. Yeah.
Great centerboard. Yeah.
Because when you were saying before,
rake centerboard.
Yeah, so rakes.
Yeah, sorry, you can rake it. Yeah.
Yep.
And so obviously you can lift it. So as it gets windy, you can reduce it a little bit. You were talking about being able to lift it, so it's on a little. Your pivot pin is on a little crane system, and you can just lift it up.
Pulls it forward and aft.
Rake it back. Rather than up, we rake it back.
Oh, you just rake.
Yep.
Oh, okay. You're only doing simple stuff.
You like Jonathan Livingston Seagull, mate.
Yeah.
Sorry. I was just being a little cheeky.
Get rid of some wingspan, but
because on a 5.0, you can lift it, you can rake it, it jibes, and you can add twist as well. So I was just I'm waiting for you guys to catch up. We'll just wait on that one.
No, John Turner. To be fair, John Turner he's put in a jibing board, and I mean it's funny because like there's a lot of chat between whether a jibing board or we've had trim tab centre boards in there, and I don't know. You obviously look at the 5.0 and it's a smooth skin boat, isn't it? And obviously that goes sideways quite quickly. Yep. So a jibing board definitely shows that it works quite well.
With the clinker, that's
in the Merlin, with a clinker because it's got a little bit more grip sideways.
Bit of grab, yeah.
You would assume that a jibing board or a trim tab would make actually more difference, but it doesn't seem to show up as much, or maybe we just haven't put enough time into it. I know the 5.0s and the American guys, they put a hell of a lot of time into 4 sizes and stuff.
Yeah, you got to be able to lock your jibing board so when you go downwind, it doesn't jibe. You lose too much speed, so you got to actually build a little system that does that. But I'm interested with the clinker element to it. Maybe Stu or Simon, you can come in here on this. You would have to be deadly accurate with your side-to-side trim. Like you wouldn't want to, because you can get a lot of drag off surfaces like that. So I'm assuming you'd be ruthlessly accurate with how little you let the boat heel. You'd keep it dead flat, I'm assuming, or slightly to windward or slightly leeward, however the boat likes to sail. But you don't want to be dragging too many of those clinkers in the water. Is that the way? Is that the right
clinkers.
term? Yeah, I don't know what. It's like a chocolate over here, isn't it?
Yeah, you don't want clinkers on the starboard bow, mate.
It's a lolly over here, a clinker.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah, sorry, go Sam.
I was just going to say you're absolutely right. I think they need to be sailed very, very flat. On the sea, obviously, it's a bit harder, especially when you're hiking out and your crew's not hiking out with his bum out the water enough. So they tend to sail with a bit of a heel. And then it's really slow. So, it's really, really important to keep it flat.
It just seems like that. So from the perspective of degree of difficulty, like if you say there's people listening to this, right, and they go, oh, this sounds too complex. I mean, the one thing I'll say is when you've got really complex systems on a boat, what you do is you set the boat up, and then when you're sailing, you hardly touch anything. You've got your go-to. It might be vang, what you guys call kicker, might be side stay, it might be something, but it's very little change, but you can change it up until the start. If you're a sort of person thinking about getting a Merlin, are they a hard boat to sail? Like, are they tippy? Are they tweaky? Like where do they fit? I'll start with you, Stu, I think, because we haven't heard from you, and
Yeah, I think they are. They're not super easy to sail, and especially in some waves, you could easily make the bow, because it's so narrow and pointed, turn into the rudder. If you slip it into a wave and then you spear it in and capsize. So I wouldn't say they're super easy, but they're also beautiful to sail. If you get your weight back enough, they're really wide, so you've got lots of righting moment. The hiking position actually it's quite a comfortable hiking position, if that makes sense. It's like it's got a really nice gunnel that molds around your legs, not like a laser or something like that. So in that respect, they're beautiful boats to sail. But I wouldn't say that they're for complete beginners. They're quite wide as well. So I know a few of my mates, Luke Patience, for example, he actually struggled to helm one because he's so short. He can't tack very well. He needs to step.
Takes him a while to get from side to side, you reckon?
Yeah, he needs to get a hiking stick and to get his roll tacks in.
That's funny. That's funny. Yeah. Okay.
But I mean, you got to look at the amount of people sailing it, Jay, and it's obviously super successful. So there's obviously the upper echelon of performance. There's probably the 10, 20, or 30 people that are pushing that element. But there's the element of social sailing, which I think is probably the key to the class.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, also to touch on as well is we've also got. Even a lot of the vintage boats are still racing, and there's a vintage circuit. So you're getting people still yachting around on the old boats, and they're half the width of what the modern Merlins are, and then you got people sailing on the river and what they call it banger racing on the river. Just pick up the old boats and just go smashing them around the river and have a great time. So there's Merlins for everybody.
Merlin.
Simon, have you got any of your old family's boats still out there sailing?
Yeah. No, so I think in our family we've probably got 4 Merlins, ranging from the traditional ones that race the Thames circuit and the vintage classes, and then to the more modern ones. My one is sat in the field at my parents' house. It gets sailed once a year when I come back from Merlin Rocket Week.
Love it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things. It'd be just awesome to see. These old classes that have been around for 100 years or so, to see a 100-year-old boat rocking up at a national championships. I think it'd be super cool.
Yeah, well, you do.
I was in your boat, Simon.
I keep threatening to bring it back to Australia. I think maybe I might do that. Put it in a shipping container and bring it back here. Yeah, maybe one day.
But
because you guys over there got something similar, haven't you? Is it the NS14?
So an NS14, yep, that's a development class. Yeah. And then you've got one, so basically you can run an NS as an MG14, which has a kite on it and a trapeze. But the NS looks a little bit like a Merlin, it's very pointy bow and quite flared and wide and super efficient hull, really easily driven, high spec wing mast. But then the MGs tend to be more of a fixed mast and just run an Assy spinnaker on them. I was thinking about them a little bit as we've been talking. But
they're not clinker though, are they?
No.
Are they?
No. So a taser is actually a one design NS14 from about the 70s or 80s or something. It really was.
Tasers are big in the UK as well. So
taser. That's basically come from an NS14 sort of structure. So Northbridge Senior 14 is what an NS means.
Okay.
The budget, if you're looking to buy, a flash new boat, this is probably, I don't know who to ask this one, but, or if you're looking, somebody's going, oh, yeah, I'm fired up. I want to come in and try the class. I want a pretty competitive boat. What am I going to be spending?
10K upwards.
Pounds.
That's pounds, not
pounds.
Yeah.
That's a big difference for us.
Pretend money.
Yeah.
Trust me.
It's a big difference.
No, it makes sense. No, that's about that's probably a fair budget. So you get in there.
20K Aussie, something like that.
Does the pound have Charles on it now? Or is it still Liz? Who's on the pound?
Don't ask me. I'm in Melbourne.
Yeah, no.
I got no money.
No, I read on the front page of Woman's Weekly today that he's abdicated. Isn't that the truth? Woman's Weekly, isn't that the truth magazine?
So £10,000 competitive boat.
Yeah.
I mean the new boats are expensive, but they can last like 15 years. I mean, how old's your boat? Winning nationals in, how old is it?
Oh, it's actually downstairs. The guy I sold it to is having some work done, and he's Biggs is doing some work downstairs, and I had that new in 2006, I think I did. Yeah, and sold it at when it was about when was lockdown? 2020. That's when I sold it.
Yeah. And what are they?
What's the build of them? I mean, we're talking foam sandwich now, or is that where we're at with those things? Or
Yeah, it's got to be a glass hull. Glass hull, but you can have carbon decks. So.
Okay.
And the resin system, are you doing polyesters or epoxies or what? Or vinyl?
Epoxy, full epoxy.
Yeah, cool. So they will last. Absolutely will last.
Yeah,
copy.
Yeah, definitely.
Especially with those clinkers, those lines in them. That's got to give
clinkers. I love the way you call them clinkers.
I don't know what else to call it. Those planks, the pretend planks. That'll give it some structural strength. It wouldn't flex as much. You wouldn't get that, like when you're going upwind in a fin and you hit a wave and the whole fin goes whoop, whoop. like that. You can see the thing pump, but you wouldn't get that on those boats at all, sort of thing.
Nah.
Very stiff.
Yeah. Even when the two of you are hanging out the back corner, it's you get a little bit of twist, but not.
I love it.
Not massive amount.
Love it. Sitting on the lap with your friend, It's two grown men getting a hug on the back of a boat, It's just wonderful experience.
Special moments, mate.
Simon, if you brought one down to Port Phillip Bay, mate, you'd have to put an extension out the back because there's some of that little short, steep chop there. She might go straight in.
Yeah, well, if you sailed at Whitstable,
okay,
it's the same.
It's the same thing.
It's about the same. Yeah, no, pretty used to sailing in short chop, and yes, you need to get back.
Right back. Yeah.
Right back.
Copy.
Yeah, but they still sail in that kind of stuff really well. A bit harder to sail sometimes, but yeah, they'll go through the chop here really well in Port Phillip Bay.
The other thing, of course, we haven't mentioned Spinnaker. So Spinnaker, it's a double pole system. So it's just a self-launching pole. Well, not self. You've got to get the monkey at the front too, which is, a good-looking person normally at the front.
With a big head.
Yeah, with a big head. To pull the pole out, let the pole off, go out the other side. So, Spinnaker, you're hanging on, just racing off downwind. Can I ask, every class has something unique about it. And you can all answer this one, see if you've got different answers. But I'll start with you, Stu, just because you're top of screen. What is something uniquely Merlin Rockets, that everyone goes, oh, that's the Merlin Rockets, whether it's the way you sailed it or the way you have your parties.
You're not allowed to say clinkers either.
Yeah, sorry.
I mean, we've talked a lot about the boats, and I do love the boats. But for me, the unique thing about the Merlin is the class and the people, diversity, the different ages. For me, that's the social side. That's what keeps driving me back. There's other boats, great boats in the UK, but not with that kind of homeliness to the class that it has, and the people around it. So that's certainly the unique thing for me.
Yeah, sausage sizzles and mums making sandwiches, hey?
It doesn't have to be mums, BP. It can be anyone. Modern world,
mate. Oh.
You're on the sausage sizzle last weekend.
I'm the sausage sizzler, mate. Yeah.
If we say sausage sizzle, do you? I know Simon's going to know exactly what a sausage sizzle. Do you boys know what we're talking about when we say sausage sizzle?
I have any idea.
No idea. I'm guessing a barbecue with sausages on it.
You got it, bro.
Pretty close. There's a key element they need, but how good's a sausage sizzle, Simon?
Yeah, it's pretty good. In the UK, you have a bacon bap before you go racing. That's the equivalent. Yeah.
The bap.
Yeah. Bacon bap.
Same animal, different.
Same animal, yeah. It's a different part of the world.
Yeah. Bap. Bacon sandwich, Jay.
Yeah, bacon sanger.
Anyway, it's Taxi's turn. So what is unique about the Merlin?
Oh man, Stewie's kind of answered it there. Really, he has. Yeah,
well, I get that. I think that's a super cool thing for a class to have.
Yeah, I mean, the socials on the evenings. I mean, yeah, there's been many times where all three of us have been there till the dying end and not trying to find the after party.
Listening to a bit of Nirvana and just head banging in the front row. You reckon?
Yeah, I mean, I've been in part of like house parties at Salcombe where you've even got like some of the old guys who are like in their 70s coming and they're dancing on the living room table like 2:00 in the morning. And we've got to go sailing the next day.
I love it.
Yeah, we love a house party. And there's one guy, Dan. He when we're at Salcombe, if there's a house party, he's just got this thing where he can't come through the front door. He's got to go through the window, isn't he? It's just like
he always leaves through the window, doesn't he?
Yes. He enters and leaves through the window, and you just got characters like that. And I think like you've got these, and the funny thing is like you find out what these characters are, and then they're like lawyers and people.
Yeah, lawyers, doctors,
and you're just like
brain surgeons.
Yeah, and they're just letting their hair down, and the social side of it is quality, and then
nice.
To top it off, the boat's just fully refined, and it's just a nice bit of kit.
I dare say, Simon, you're probably going to say the same.
Yeah, I think. I mean, the only thing that's missing is the caliber of the sailing as well. I mean, you do get to sail against people like Stewie and Taxi, and really the top people in the UK will come to some of these events. So you get an amazing social. And then just to say also around similar theme to what they were saying, that the family side of it is something probably I miss the most living here in Australia, and obviously I miss my family back home, but I miss the sort of Merlin family, immensely as well. It's some of the relationships that you have with the whole class are things that you'll have forever, I think. So it's one of those classes that's really unique, I would say, and everyone really cares for each other.
Yeah, well, I've got a note here that was sent to me. You went from Tokyo, Stu, I think, to the Merlin Nationals to helm a boat, and the class, they let you put the Olympic rings on because you've got the gold medal. Put the Olympic rings on your mainsail, and there was some someone saying, "Well done on winning the warm-up regatta." It's
Yeah, I think Dax is the man to blame for that, the old Olympic rings. But yeah, gold Olympic rings was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's nice.
Look out for the gold letterbox, mate.
So I guess if somebody's listening in, and there's a lot of people listening in who are keen on thinking, you guys sound like a good bunch of people, because I think you're right, what you said about the social element. That's why we go sailing, just to have those, shared interest and a lot of laughs. Somebody's interested, how would they find out more about the class, or who should they approach? Like, is there someone that they should approach, or go to the website? What should they do?
I think it probably is the website. Yeah, I mean, there's a proper website online and Facebook pages and stuff like that. So yeah, go and look and read. I'm sure there'll be contact details on there to get in touch with someone to get you started, or give one of us a free shout.
Yeah, they've got a pretty good website and a very active sort of Facebook page. One of us, they've got a class representatives that can all be found on the website as well. So I think contact any of those.
Yeah,
you'll work it out. Yeah.
I think Rob Allen did a lot of work to raise awareness. He didn't let us slack off on getting the Merlin on board, and I think Lou Johnson does a bit of publicity for you guys. But yeah, the website Merlin Rocket it's just search Merlin Rocket and it'll come up. It's the easiest way. But they look cool, boys. They genuinely look cool. Like I've always looked at them and gone, these look like a lot of fun and decent sized fleets, as you say, in all different venues. I think that's the other thing that you mentioned it at the start, but I reckon that's pretty critical, that all-round sailing ability, like sailing on a lake versus sailing in the middle of a short choppy sea or whatever, makes a, diverse experience. And sailing with your friends, that's the other thing. So
talk about friends. My good mate Gareth Griffiths has been banging on about the Merlin Rockets for years. He's been talking about that when I've been sailing with him over the years. So that was my first introduction to the boat.
Very cool.
Gus, down in Leamington.
Take you guys challenge to come and do Sulcan Week one year.
Yeah.
How's that sound?
Yeah, no, I'm in. 100%.
We'll be in.
From Australia, but I promise you it'll be worth the trip.
100%
we'll be in.
Yeah, no, Sulcan. So we're going ice boating. Just saying, we've got quite a list of things we're doing. BP's sailing and Sail GP, but I really am interested in Sulcan. So you might be 121 entries one year because it'll be a late notice, but it looks beautiful. The photos look beautiful.
Thing is with Jay, I mean, he's what he considers a normal size human being. So there's a definition of what he considers and what the general public considers. So let's just he's not a small man.
Yeah, and if I smack my head into the boom, it may destroy your boom because it's quite a sizable head.
Had to find you a small crew.
Mate, I'd love to do it. I'd love to get up there and give them a crack. They look like a fun boat for sure.
So for the listeners, Sulcan Week is SALCOMBE. Have a bit of a Google on that one because it is quite beautiful. And there's some great video and stuff come from it because, as Simon said, it's got the cliff tops and everyone's looking down and it just looks super cool, super, super cool. So
Yeah, on a really windy day from the southwest, the wind funnels up the estuary, and so the boats coming downwind have to jibe pretty much where all the spectators are, and it is really good spectating.
Cool.
There's a lot of big wipeouts.
Well, I love it.
And you get to offer advice.
Yeah. Just shut your eyes, I think.
Yeah, I was going to say that's how most of us do it.
Yeah.
I just got visions, like if that was in Oz, the spectators would be offering quite significant amounts of advice as you came in to jive, really trying to throw you out.
Oh, you get that.
You
You get everybody in like a little putt-putt boat following you around going, ooh, I wouldn't attack their taxi.
Not how I would do it, Tax. Come on, mate.
Who's Simon's paid for those people to do that, like that banter.
He probably has, yeah.
That banter throwing you off. We love that. That's critical part of sailing.
Banter's our big thing on Bar Karate, so we actually bring back the banter.
Yeah. One of our t-shirts.
Maybe that's what we should do is get some,
well, definitely come join the Merlin. There's plenty of that.
Get some Merlin banter going. I think it'll be good.
I think,
all right.
We should send Fritz up because Fritz would he would just be hilarious in that class. I reckon you guys would just be going, who's this guy?
Yes, he is German, by the
way. Well, so Stu now, Fritz and Schnitter, they could sail together. We'll explain in a minute, boys. We'll explain. Hey, gentlemen, thanks for taking the time. Great fun chatting about a cool boat. And hopefully you get a few people knock on the door and come and have a go. But thanks for taking the time and joining us here on Bar Karate, boys.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us, yeah.
Good on you, legends. Well done. Good luck.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Jeez, lads. Great conversation. Fantastic conversation.
Huge.
I'm super, we've all got invites to go and sail the boat, which is definite. We're definitely on the cards. 100% in my wheelhouse. I'll be doing that. That and ice boating, I reckon.
Well, we're going okay. I must admit that when we recorded a while ago, but there's been lots of banter back and forward, and the base is in Leamington, and I'm looking at being there in a couple of weeks. So I've got my boat all organised.
BP,
going to go and do the spring season.
Maybe BP, you could set up in your room there in your new apartment all the strings. Just go buy a bunch of different coloured strings so you can practice.
All the 3 mil stuff. Just get my needle and splice away.
We're going to have to get Luigi on the show soon, Bossy. Now that you're in Italy, we're going to have to, if we're going to talk strings, we might have to get Luigi on the show.
We need some rope smithing. For sure.
Rope smithing. We need a rope smithing session. That's for sure.
Now, BP, as you said, you've got your boat lined up. You're going for a sail. The concern I have, given what we've seen this last few weeks, is how much power has the reverse curse got? Because we've just talked about a whole class of sailing boats, right? So does the whole class get the reverse curse? Because as we saw, Stu Bithell, he was sailing for the German Sail GP team, literally as we published his interview last week, second I published, they win that heat.
Win the heat.
Win, bang, straight away. And now we've just
how do we stop this thing? How do we stop it?
Well, we got to add some more evidence because we just watched the OK Worlds in sunny Queensland,
which we're going to talk about. But we had to bring it up now.
Taxi, into second overall, and very close to had a real shot at winning the thing going into the last day. So, it could be their talent.
We're not saying that the reverse curse can win you an event, but I can tell you what, coming second in the world in the OK in that fleet.
It was a good fleet.
We'll talk about it later.
What needs to happen? They need to have a yardstick race on
the reverse curse yardstick race
and see if the Merlin Rocket gets up over everyone else. That would be the ultimate tester.
I love it.
Does anyone else know what a yardstick race is?
I think a lot of people do.
I think the last time there was a yardstick race was Largs Bay Sailing Club 1993.
I was going to say, it would have been 1993, Largs Bay Sailing Club.
I love it.
Remember it well.
The
laser against the heron.
Very cool. Boys, with all this travel, we've been on aeroplanes a lot, and one thing that has been very evident is aeroplane food sucks. Been stuck in airports, aeroplane food sucks, but we may have found the solution. BP?
No, I've got it.
Oh, Bicey's on it.
Bicey's
Just
probably
like business
got it as well.
tight asses. Don't know about you blokes, plebs down the back, but
Oh,
I get it pretty good.
yeah, you do get it pretty good. But unfortunately, I've got to pay for my flights, and I can only apply for upgrades.
No, I actually, just before we go into, I sent a message to one of my work colleagues and said, "Fuck, I've just dropped another 50,000 points to be upgraded."
Oh,
Yeah,
So I got nothing left.
No,
Nothing
no,
left.
no question. But
No good holding on. Go
what
on.
did old BP do? And I'm sure Bicey's thought about it, but
Mhm.
I decided to whack a few radix in me carry on, and gave that a whirl. And
What do you do? Just ask for a bit of hot water.
Well, flying
Or-
Qantas, of course.
That's all
row
you get.
72D. Row 72D.
3J. Yeah.
72D. I wandered down the back into the free feed area where you get the Kit Kats and the Sayo biscuits, and I asked for some milk, and I had some breakfast a couple of times, and munched my way through a couple of banana packs, and mate, on fire.
Yeah,
Mate, next step is getting some hot water, doing it, just creating the waft of the korma curry.
having an Indian curry next to the bloke who's having that terrible bloody vegetarian meal.
I love it. I love it. I mean, in all honesty, despite the partnership,
it's a good idea.
It's a brilliant idea. It is genuinely the right way to travel. My wife, she won't eat any of the airline food, so the radix on board for her is the solution. And you guys, it's the way to go. It's very good. If, of course, you want to try it out, just go to Radix Nutrition, jump on their website, order, and use the discount code BARKARATI, and we'll give you a discount on us.
Yeah, and on top of that, get a long-haul trip from, say, wherever you are to the other side of the world and give it a go.
Yeah.
Give it a crack.
Give it a crack.
Easy.
Give it a crack.
It's just a test, a Radix test. You're not going on holiday. You're going to fly straight back.
Okay, boys, what have we got?
Move on.
Moving on. Other news. Right. There's a lot, I guess, events. There's plenty on at the moment. There's a few events that have opened up. I'll just list them. So Brisbane to Hamo Yacht Race is open for entry. So that's an important one as a lead into Hamo Race Week, which I think plenty of people are interested. I noticed Middle Sea Race is now open for entries. I see the Newport to Bermuda is starting to plan. That's around the middle of the year. On the other side of the scale, BP coming in a sec, Brisbane to Gladstone, the entries, you close off on Monday, the 11th, 5 p.m, so just be on to that. Malang Goolwa Malang, entries close off on Wednesday, so if you haven't got your entries
in there,
get it done. And then, of course, there's a little event coming up, the 49er Worlds in Lanzarote this week. Okay, BP, you're urgent. Your fingers up. What's up, buddy?
Sydney to Auckland has just been announced.
Oh,
from Royal Prince Alfred.
Yes.
Back to Auckland the first year, an extreme successful 2025. So that's just come on board. So anyone in this region looking at doing a damn cool race, which I think has got a huge future, is the Sydney to Auckland yacht race.
Yeah, well, Barkarati's been promoting for day one, so we're into that.
Sure, you're going to be doing it in a X2 BP?
Ooh.
Well, it depends if I stop in Hawaii in the Pac Cup or just keep going. Get across the line, get the trophy, and then keep going and bring it down here.
Just keep going. I like it.
Yep. I love it. Love it. Cool. Should we go on to Listener of the Week, gentlemen?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
So the Jack Lloyd Listener of the Week, and remember this every month, and this is the week, the monthly winner of the Jack Lloyd Listener of the Week, presented by Vycobi. Our friends at Vycobi are making some fantastic gear. I've seen it all going around, all the trap belts, the new trap belts going around in the 18 skiff fleet. The winner will get a $200 Aussie voucher from our friends at Vycobi. So for the best email, and it's easy, just send them in at cheers@barkarati.com and we'll take everything. And we look at all different themes when we choose. As an example, the two emails that we liked this week that came in were about embracing the Barkarati culture. I think that's what I responded to. So we had a couple of emails. One was from our sergeant. I've got to dig him up. Normally would be more prepared. And then the other one was from Chris Gillingham. I've got Chris's ready to go. So Chris, he wrote in, loving the show on my weekly commute to the office. Thanks for the great interviews. Looking forward to seeing more of the Radix range in the UK. Now,
Which,
has
by the way, is happening.
Yes, great. He's an ex-505 crew. He's into the Radix.
Oh, is that why? It's not nothing to do with Radix.
No. And he sent a whole bunch of pictures through and of him enjoying the Radix, which is, and he's got a Mount Gay rum hat on. You know, he's from the Hot Rum Regatta in 2010. So I like it. I like it was a simple email.
What I like is
Mate,
Radix
this
association with sailing.
This is bloody rigged, I tell you.
Yeah.
505 crew. Mount Gay, I bet you're having one of your little nice super duper J-Dog Mount Gays now. It's rigged, I tell you.
It's rigged.
Rigged. Well, the other one's another one. Just a nice one. This is the Al Sargent one. Hi from San Francisco. Okay.
Oh.
Thought I'd share a short video of some actual bar karate from the US Olympic trials in Ilkers. In this, you see two guys discussing a wipeout during a 25 to 30 knot squall we had in Miami, and using bar karate to describe it. Thanks for all you do. Just listened to your podcast with the head of the Adelaide Sailing Club. I was there for the Masters Worlds, staying with Malcolm Higgins, who knows you. The great Malcolm Higgins. Happy 60th birthday coming up in a few weeks, my friend. Another nice email, right? So happy with that, boys? All good?
No, I'm happy, but I don't know who's going to win it. I think they're
okay.
going to both
Well, that's
go in.
for this week. The other one we did get, a late mail one, was on the Insta. Old Finn Alexander, who was on just a few weeks ago, has sent through, and I put it on stories. One of his mates on the island at Sail GP with an attractive young lady using the bar karate, and I said the post was bar karate using to pick up the opposite sex these days, and put that up, and then Finn sent the note through. It works 100% of the time, 23% of the time.
100%, 23% of the time.
But that's good.
Well,
that's good.
That's like Rodney Rood's got those sort of numbers as well.
Yeah. But the winner for the category, and I had to make this decision because you two blokes were asleep. We got one listener, probably the most active listener we've got. I would suggest we would get 9,000 emails a week from this bloke. A day, sorry. Photos, ideas, everything. He's throwing stuff at us left, right, and centre, offering us houses to stay in the Caribbean. He's a passionate man. But during all that issue with Ronnie Simpson, he was on the phone to Ronnie when he lost his mast offshore, and he was sending us complete updates. And we did give some of the updates using all the information from John Schaefer. So I think that was probably the most important email we had for the month because of the safety element and that detail. And so I made an arbitrary decision, and John wins it not just on that, but just on the quality, the quantity of information he provides. And he needs to be recognised for what he does. And plus the rescue swimmer thing, and he's running a whole series on YouTube.
Oh, absolutely.
On how to be safe. Safety.
Well done, John.
Yep. So if you are going to see
on deciding that with us,
I hope you guys are happy with that. So it's Schaefer.
No, well deserved.
Yeah.
No, you've
he's
done well,
almost
Jay.
been listener of the year a couple of times. So good on you, John.
He is listener of the year.
Yeah. The only regret I've got now is my phone will ring at 3 a.m. As he rings up to chat about it. But that's all right.
No, we'll have a group. We'll have a group call.
Yeah, no, it'll be a group text for sure.
I love it. Cool. Well, congratulations, Shafe, mate. The Vycobi listener of the week. And hopefully that Pat's got some stuff in your size, buddy. That'll be good. All right.
Yeah, well done.
It's hot time with Bice.
So the question, I'm just waiting for I'm doing a little dance here, just waiting for the cleaner to come in my hotel room.
I've just got the vision of the guy out of Jackass.
Around in my undies, just ripped my jeans off.
I've just got the vision there of the guy out of Jackass, and it just never goes away.
Mate, well, the thing is, what's not happening this week?
Well, that's it.
Yes.
I'm a bit unsure where to start, tell you the honest truth.
Yeah, it's on.
So I'm going to whiz through a couple of things, but
It's a big list, isn't it, on the run sheet?
Just woo us up when there's something that we can talk about a bit more. Quick one just for the Sharpie fans. SA state titles have just concluded with, as mentioned previously, Mao Higgins taking it out with focus. With Jason Heritage, a national champion, coming in second, only a couple of points behind. They spent the weekend at your favourite sailing spot, Jordan.
I did see some
Port
photos.
Vincent.
Port Vincent.
Port Vincent.
Our good paradise. Actually, randomly, I got a photo as soon as I touched down on my plane from the one great Robbie Jewson of me and him sailing a Sharpie together. The photo must be from 15 years ago, but anyway, it just randomly turned up. So back to the Sharpie.
Second best off the beach, class. So why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
All right. Other side. Let's go to Mexico now. Puerto Vallarta race.
When are we going there?
Well, right now.
Okay,
Brace
righto.
yourself, yeah.
Okay.
Grab your radix, jump on the plane, off we go.
Porto to Mexico, get the radix going.
1,000 miler or something, I think it is. The Rio 100 took it line honours.
Yeah.
Friend of the
Yeah,
show,
saw this.
Biowacket on the Santa Cruz 68 pretty much takes the win on all the handicap stuff and a few different things. So well done to them, but a nice race. Probably not as much breeze as they normally get, but a pretty nice slide down south.
I did notice.
I'm just wondering how they got over the fence.
The wall.
I did notice
the jibe.
all our boss, everyone the man who's our boss on a global scale, Bao Becking, was in charge of the 100 program. So, yep.
There's a gate, isn't there?
There's a gate.
It's got a remote control, and you got to wait there if it opens up.
Card.
Yeah, swipe card into Mexico.
All right, now let's make our way back into the Atlantic, and we RC44s in Lanzarote.
How good was the footage? Did you see the footage the other day?
Holy crap and balls! They got plenty on, plenty of breeze, and just what I'd say to the listeners. Hadn't been determined who's. I think Nika was winning last time I saw, but winner hasn't been announced yet. But go check it out. Just look it up. RC44 Lanzarote. There's some fabulous footage. Friend of the show, Hoskins, gave
and
a
Will
nice
Ryan.
little interview. Who I believe the words were, "It's possibly one of the biggest wipeouts I've ever been involved in." I was holding on to the runner, and my feet were a metre off the cockpit floor.
Wow.
Oh, well, that's not hard. He's only 2'2" tall.
Good on you, Chriso. Keep them coming. Straight to the comp
absolutely.
with that one.
Absolutely.
Rightio. Okays. Oh, yeah, 470 worlds, boys.
Yeah.
Under the radar?
Keeping an eye on this one.
Have not.
Kind of slipped under the radar a little bit.
100%. I'm on it. So I can give you, it's like it finishes off today as we're recording. So as this is being published, it'll be finishing today. Geordie Jamar and Nora Brugman have jumped to the lead after a bit of breeze. So I think the Japanese and the Germans fell away. We had a couple of windy days, a couple of windy races, and that sort of dropped the Japanese teams down. But I do want to highlight, one of the things we love about sailing boats is the names that they use, and you go to the classes and they have really cool and funny names. The Spanish team of Geordie and Nora, Isden BMW, Olivia Motor, Zick Garmin 226s, Gottfried Maffioli, which is great, in front of the French team down in sixth with Banque Populaire, Cifrigo, Helvetia, Oliver, Bled, Amore, des Champions, Douanes. It's ridiculous.
3. It's the third one.
All the sponsors.
All the sponsors. It's just, and they got millions of sponsors on there.
Well, this is a new trend that's coming out. I noticed you're picking this up. Picking it up, Jay. There's a few. You mentioned it last week as well. I think these long names that really just a bunch of companies.
Yeah.
And they just roll off the tongue.
So
we're going to be. What are we going to be? Bar Karate, the sailing podcast. What? Radix Croc.
Oh, we should sponsor a 470. I think.
I'm not sure we can afford it. Anyway, somebody's got Hyperloop in there. Okay. But anyway, so yeah, that's pretty much down to the wire. It's going into the gold medal race. It's it's a 56 points to 67 is the gap at the moment between first and second. The British team of Vida Heathcote and Chris Grube in second, and then the Japanese team of Okada and Yoshioka in third with 72. So it's the last race, but I have been watching a bit more breeze, plenty on, obviously with the Olympics very close. Sorry, boys, continue.
God, we've got so much to talk about, boys. Hit it.
Oh,
Come on.
absolutely. Next, OKs, boys. Sailed up in your home waters, Jordan. Well, not your home waters, but your home club.
Yep.
Looked like a magnificent event. Everything that I saw coming out of the socials, you would have been a bit closer to it. But basically, top three, Nick Craig takes it out with 15 points. I think he's sixth from memory.
Sixth win.
Sixth world champion.
Yep.
Not a bad effort, is it?
Taxi 27.
Taxi.
And,
Taxi.
Dick Blaso 31.
Taxi.
Yeah. It was a good battle. Great.
Good battle. Something like 90 odd boats, right?
Yeah.
More than that, 100 and something.
Fleet's got split in the gold and silver.
We did touch on it on the in the opening, and how good is the reverse curse though? How good is it?
Oh, some big names in there. Like
because
it's huge.
what? Yeah, go on. Yeah.
Well, Davis is in there. My favourite, Askom from Denmark. That's got to be one of our great names, Askom. So I hope he's
ask who?
Home.
Oh, ask Hom. He knows.
I love it. And the David Clark from the Dave Clark 5.
Oh, Dave Clark in fifth. Yep.
From the Dave Clark 5.
He plays saxophone.
Saxophone.
He plays the alto sax.
Anyway, great regatta.
Speaking of reverse curse, JJ's on Sydney Harbour. You can see sense a bit of a theme here, just bouncing all over the world, just being as inclusive as possible. I know
it's got to do with the run sheet. There's no fucking order.
I woke up this morning. Boys, and there was plenty of banter going on our little private chat.
Yeah.
Obviously, you guys were watching the racing.
Yeah.
Everyone getting a little bit homesick.
Yeah.
So, tell us what happened.
Well, I'd love to talk about this because it's I'm over here and decided I'd flick on the YouTube channel for international listeners and or listeners full stop. If you want to watch this, it's pretty awesome. YouTube 18 footers. Well, Andu, our fellow Barcaradians, Sammy Newton, Sevi Jarvin, and of course Johnny Winning Jr. absolutely nailed it. So
race
had a fantastic
two. This
race.
Is race 2 you're talking about? Yep.
Race 2, yeah.
Yep.
Just looked fantastic down there. I got to say, I felt a bit homesick. The footage showed a video of up the harbour, and there was hundreds of boats out enjoying a 10 knot northeasterly.
Yeah, it was probably 10 to 15, and obviously Andu is the heaviest crew out there, and that was right at the top of the rig range, and they just sailed away from people off the start line. Yesterday, race 1 was completely different. It was real shifty, little
With
pressure
Andu.
lines. Yeah, pressure lines coming from everywhere, and everyone had a shot at the lead yesterday in race 1. So it's end up Yandu winning just from Andu, but the Kiwis were having flashes of brilliance. There was a lot of people getting in at the front on that one, but today was just the two boats just chasing.
Andu.
Yeah, two, but it was gone.
All the dues. But
All the dues.
we got plenty of time to report on this. This goes for about another 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So we'll be able to keep an eye on that as we move forward. But sounds like a pretty good system, and we'll
listeners get on it. It is great. It's really good footage. It's really cool to watch.
Right, my favourite that I've been watching lately, the Archaea All Team Challenge. We've got 2 boats have finished, probably going to be close to a third by the time you're listening to this, listeners. I've enjoyed watching this, and I just can't help but be in awe a little bit of these guys sailing these mega boats, all team boats around the world. I heard a little story that there was some mainsail in Gitana, and they had to do a little repair, mainsail up and down like 4 or 5 times by yourself. By yourself.
Wow.
Imagine that.
No.
Not to mention, just go to the tracker, have a look. This is what gets me. We thought it was pretty cool, the ice gates. Not cool, but watching the ice skates during the ocean race, and you're seeing all the boats, specifically on the 65s, jibing down the ice skates. Charles was doing that on a 100-footer by himself, falling along, doing 30 knots.
Not bad.
Like, there's a lot. Yeah, it's a feat of.
I'm hearing you. I'm hearing you.
How we could do it? I'm lost for words. Anyway, good on Charles for taking the win.
Well, there was a thing on Bookface the other day saying that he's reached legendary status.
Oh, 100%.
Pretty sure he's already there, isn't he?
Well, he's had the win with the Volvo.
Yep.
And then pretty much since he's jumped on this boat, he's untouchable.
Yeah.
So yeah, well done to Charles. Thomas Cavill Sedebo second, and Armel will be third, Bank Pop. So well done to them.
Absolutely.
Well done.
Keep going. There's too much here to go through. We could talk for another. We keep going. I love this.
I'll chuck something in here. AC40s. We saw the Kiwis out this week trialing their new foil port side. And we saw some Mozzie sales. We had Mozzie sales do a bit of a review on what's going on with all that sort of stuff and a bit of controversy. So go check that out. That's cool. But there's something which has to be mentioned. The Kiwis had the port fall out of the water. Someone's crawled out alongside to have a look. And one of the comments, is he wearing Crocs?
Well,
definitely
Crocs are the grippiest footwear for climbing out on foil.
And one would think you'd have them in sports mode, sailing an AC40. Nah, chill mode.
Oh,
Standard Crocs.
Wow.
So
were they the camo? Were they the camo ones or?
No, blacks.
Oh well, that answers that question.
It's a Kiwi. Come on, mate. What colour uniform? Black.
Oh, could have been silver.
I've actually always wondered.
Could have been silver.
I mean, the Kiwis are bloody good on the naming of things and being real inventive with stuff.
Mm.
Like the North Island, South Island, that sort of stuff. They're pretty good.
Yeah.
And all the sporting teams are the Ferns, or as we know, Jordan, the badminton team, the
Blackhawks.
The Blackhawks. Anyway, or the Ferns, right? Maybe Team New Zealand. That's an inventive one. As well.
Very super inventive.
Maybe they went the Foiling Ferns.
Yeah, the Foiling Ferns.
Oh.
The Foiling Fern.
Oh.
Yeah.
Love it. I love what you've done there, boy.
It's not bad.
Bit of space for that. Anyway.
So the Foiling Ferns.
Adults,
so,
if you're listening.
You're welcome.
Go well. You're welcome.
That's all we got to say all the time. I think we just open the show with "You're welcome."
All right, Sail GP boys. Last week,
how cool.
Aussies take the win. Germans get the reverse curse at time of, as we mentioned earlier, at time of publishing, they took the win.
Did you see
Aussies take it? Oh, by the slightest of margins in the final. Ahead of Denmark. They just slipped around that top mark.
How good is Nikolai Erstedt going?
Yeah. So Nikolai, he'd be taking the Mr. Consistency Award.
Mr. Consistency Award. He's going to be a challenge. He's going to.
Oh, it's fantastic! It's a fantastic team. They've got it's that whole team element.
Has he ever been on the show? I can't remember.
Yeah, of course he is.
Can't remember.
But that whole teamwork element. Here's something to throw out there. Outridge. The super sub coming in. So Nikolai, he was in when Nikolai was there for the birth of his child. Burling's off for the birth of his child. It's Nath creating a career.
I thought you were going to say is Nath creating something with to try and get on the boats.
I wouldn't say that.
All he's got to do is go around and get all their wives pregnant. So when
I got the next 9 months sorted.
No. So when the regattas are on, he's around at their house.
Oh my God! Don't start
so
this.
he can picks up a gig.
That's all jokes. Nathan's one of the loveliest people in the world.
Absolutely. All jokes. But I hope he gets a sticker.
Happily married.
Like for each team that he's sailed with, and he's got a sticker on the back.
A little baby sticker.
He's got a sticker on the back of his Kingswood for all the nations.
Yeah,
that he
love
sailed
it.
with.
All in different languages. Yeah.
The baby doctor.
It was good to watch, wasn't it?
Yeah, it
I'll
was
tell you what was good to watch. I'll tell you what was good to watch about the Sail GP was Germany coming into that top mark, or that bottom mark, and having a good hard crack at it and a good look at it. I was wondering what was going to happen there. That was pretty cool. I can't remember who. I think it was Denmark, wasn't it? Smashed on top of them and then basically tried to get in there. There was no room.
No room. No room, fellas.
The decision was
down.
literally 1 second, wasn't it? And I go over the top and run underneath them. Oh, I'm here.
Yeah.
I did like how much Shark Island came into play. Like, do you go below it? You know, go to the south of it? Do you go to the north of it? And I was watching it and I'm going, well, there's a few people on that Aussie boat that have been around that island about 1 billion times.
You could see it. I tell you what, you could see it. And one of the big things when you come out of Rose Bay in that direction, the lift off the island was huge. Twice, Nathan and Slingsby did it, and it was, you could just see it. It was pretty huge.
Yeah,
but on the other side of it, if you get caught on the leeward side, it was nightmare.
So I'm saying, I mean, let's just call Shark Island the Barkarati barge, basically. But we have said on the show before, it's maybe getting a bit clinical. The courses Sail GP.
Yeah,
but it's just the chessboard.
You're saying have a Barkarati barge on every course.
Here we've gone from chessboard to snakes and ladders.
Yeah.
This is and it's brought a whole lot more interesting.
I reckon they should have race courses with an island in it.
Absolutely.
Allowed to go around.
So maybe we could hire, maybe an aircraft carrier for the final.
Well, from episode 1 or 2, I think it said you wanted to buy one, didn't you?
We'll rename it the Barkarati barge and just whack it right in the middle.
Love it. Well, anyway, it was good.
Put some trees on it, make it look like an island.
The other thing that was good, there was wind. We haven't seen wind for a while, and we got proper foiling racing, and it was good. It was good fun.
Yep, it was.
Well, you're always going to look good after coming out of the Emirati events, right? So, perfect. So, well done. All right, I've completely missed my hotel breakfast, so stick with me. I've got about another half hour's worth here.
Yeah, you have. And I've got something to add too. Keep going, though.
Caribbean, boys. It's all happening in the Caribbean at the moment. The Heineken Regatta, which I'll tell you, you lose the money if you're not drinking and smoking in the Caribbean. It's a bloody good place to go. And that is a joke.
Can't afford not to have a beer.
No, you don't have to. No, not
drink responsibly.
Ting, for example, drink responsibly. Absolutely. But a great place to go. Good. Gets nothing. Probably couldn't find a better regatta, in all honesty. St. Martin. So that's cool. But also coming up, we got the Super Yacht Cup and out of Antigua and the St. Bart's Bucket. So with all the big gear.
All the big gear coming up.
Crashing around.
And you're going over to be crew boss, I hear.
No, I'll just be there, just observing.
Observing. Is that what you do? Is that what you call it? Is that what you call it? Is that what you call it? Observing.
Keen observation. Yeah.
Bicey, what are you here for? Just observing.
Observing. So looking forward to getting there, checking all that out, and that's where the action is, of course. Having come out of course, the 600 only a week or two ago. So
very cool.
Done. Now, finally.
No, there's more, but keep going.
Admiral's Cup, gents. There's been a bit of media around the Admiral's Cup.
It's back.
Basically, for the uninitiated, two rating bands. There should be 3. We'll come to that in a minute, BP. 2 rating bands, like call it up to 43 foot long, 44, whatever it is, and then up to 57 foot long. But I think we're going to see a bit of an influx of the 52s here, specifically the offshore stuff. We just see the Warrior 1s come up on the market. We've seen the Wizard or the old Ichiban be sold. Are we going to see them on the Solent in 2025? Probably.
Yeah.
And then the interesting question is going to be what 40-footers are going to take part in this particular Admiral's Cup. Keeping in mind, I believe the Royal Prince Alfred Yacht Club current holders of the Admiral's Cup. So are we going to see someone coming from down south? We've heard some rumours. So
love a rumour.
There's plenty of interest. But back to the third band, they should have had a double-handed
I thought that
section
was part of the
BP.
proposal originally.
Well, it might have been, but it's not at the moment. So
Yeah.
it would have been nice to see.
We've got
maybe
enough on.
the double-handed
We'll be right.
sneak in.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. But no,
Anyway.
for the kid too young to know, the Admiral's Cup was massive. It was the biggest thing in yachting for so long. Big team. So it's
basically,
good to
it's
sit back.
Cows Week and finish it off with Fastnet.
Yeah.
So yeah,
huge.
be keeping a close eye on that. BP, you had something you were saying.
Well, yeah. Hang on a sec. Let me just push this button here and open this up. Oh, no, I've lost it. You keep going because you've got one there. I've got to find it again.
no, that's me.
I don't think we probably have to mention. It keeps coming up, and the Magenta team sent it through. Cole Brower.
Cole Brower, that's it.
Yeah, she's coming in for the finish of the Solo Around the World race.
It's on this theme. I've just found it again. So
Okay, go for it. Go for it.
Our mate Xavier Dorr, another Barcarati, has put a mention in for one Aina Bowser, who's about to sail across the Atlantic on her mini transit. She's going for a world speed record attempt.
Yes, saw that.
But she's fully star linked up, so this will be cool. I'd love to see some footage of this.
Yeah,
This
she's
is
got a
gonna
Scow Mini,
happen,
hasn't she?
And it's today.
Okay, starts today. Yeah, Scow Mini.
She leaves today, so good luck to her. She's leaving from Cadiz and heading across to somewhere over there in a world speed record attempt. But back to Cole Brower.
The mention for her, so she's going to be the first American woman to race non-stop solo around the world, which is great. So congratulations from that history.
Yep.
But she's been a master of the media, social media. She's getting quite a few 100,000 followers. And the thing that struck out is that the ratio, obviously our numbers, we sort of kind of have a clue of our numbers, but, it generally skews male. But she's getting quite a lot of young and 50. She's getting a 50-50 ratio. So she's bringing people to the sport. So congratulations and telling her story. And, it's great.
The thing that gets me with...
It was on, maybe it was a CNN or something. Cole Brower sailing around the world with 400,000 of her closest friends.
Yeah.
But it literally mainstream. So
she's mainstream.
That's
the thing that gets me is she was bunkering down in a nasty situation in a bad storm, and she comes up it and she does a chat and she's just smiling.
Yeah. No, that's good. So yeah, congratulations to her. But anyway, that's going around. She's just about to finish. I got one more discussion point. I want to throw a question at you boys because I can't remember the rule. And
definitely go left. 100%.
Yeah. Always
well,
towards the shore.
this is in BP's area of expertise, so I'm hoping he knows.
Oh Christ!
Okay, so in race one of the 18s, we saw Andu coming down, and they're on the first run near the end of the run, and they're on starboard.
It's a port starboard issue, is it?
They're on starboard, but there was a fleet of lasers sailing upwind. So Andu's heading downwind on starboard, fleet of lasers heading, and there's lasers coming across on starboard upwind. So Andu were in a position where they were windward vessel, had to keep clear. Then they roll into a jibe. So jibing, no rights. Okay.
No.
And then they come out of their jibe on port. It's laser on starboard in front of them. And the laser is obviously in a fairly serious pack of lasers. Obviously, I don't know what the regatta was, but it might have just been a club race. There was thousands of them. But this laser had to duck massively, and it cost them about 20 boats. Like you could see, it cost quite a few boats just when you watch it. So what's the rule? That just sparked that. So, like different fleets, different racing, different clubs. Like Andu was in the wrong the whole way through that manoeuvre. That laser, I mean, what happens? Because coal regs apply in that situation.
Well, first rule of thumb is he's avoided collision, right? That's important. But he I guess he's got a right to protest, hasn't he?
Yeah, but that's right. So do you protest in your club? How does it work?
Or go for redress? I don't know. Yeah, good point.
No.
Haven't thought about it.
Slow down.
Here we go. Bias is coming in.
Pretty simple. Basically, the whole fleet now have a new microwave or washing machine. You choose. Online appliances.
And that's home delivered by winning appliance.
And that particular club have just upgraded their fridges
and barbecues.
Well done, Herman. That's very thoughtful.
So that'll be it was probably double bay, which is where the 18-foot skiffs come out of anyway. So they've got a whole new outdoor kitchen.
Yeah, I don't know. But I'm not I'm not bagging on anyone. It's certainly not bagging on Andy. We got friends with that boat.
Well, and the other thing is those 18s. You know,
the water belongs to them.
And you got the spinnaker up.
Yeah, but I was just intrigued because I was trying to put that situation, and I'm going, if I was in that situation, how do I handle that? And I couldn't remember the rule, and like I was going back. You know, you can protest another boat from outside the. I remember being able to do that, but I just can't quite remember how it plays out. And I just thought maybe one of you two, given the amount of mistakes you make on the sailing course, you'd have had that experience.
Yeah, no, I just pull ropes, mate.
No, it's just clear port starboards for BP.
Pull ropes, got nothing to do with it. I don't know how you know, anyone in the cockpit can make those decisions. You're right.
Yeah. All right. All right. Well, anyway,
bugger if I know.
Bugger if I know. It was interesting, but I mean, you're not going to get. You're not going
to have fun.
Yeah, that's right. But I was just intrigued. Anyway,
yeah.
All right.
Good luck to the guy who lost 20 places in his. He was probably winning the laser state championships or something.
Yeah, love it.
It's been turfed out.
Anyway, cool. All right, sailing was not the winner in that situation, but it is a good sport. We got a lot more people coming into it, and hopefully you're having a lot of fun. I think that's us for the week, isn't it, team?
Yep.
Yeah, but nah.
Yeah,
I believe.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Cool.
Episode 250 coming up.
Oh, yeah. We're at 249.
Episode 250. And make sure if you're a club or a class and you want to talk about yourselves, we're quite happy to listen.
Love it. All right. Jump on to Radix Nutrition if you want to add some Radix to your life. Use Barkarati and get a discount on us. Have a great week. Thanks for listening. And send your emails to cheers@barkarati.com. And be safe traveling or clothing.
We all